Now more than ever, transportation business owners need industry experts at every stage in their company's life cycle. We bring them to you in the hot seat.
Welcome to In the Hot Seat with the Tenney Group. I'm Spencer Tenney. I have a great show today. We've got Torre Hammer from Moss Adams. Torre, welcome to the Hot Seat.
Hey, thank you, Spencer. Happy to be here.
Well, before we turn things up a little bit here, let's just take 30 seconds. Tell us a little bit about the company you work for and what you're doing over there right now.
Yeah, thanks, Spencer. So my name's Torre Hammer. Like I said, I'm a partner at Moss Adams, which is an accounting and business consulting firm. I work in our firm's transportation and logistics industry space, and I lead our firm's private equity initiative within that space.
All right. I'm excited about this, sir. So without any more delay, let's jump right in. Hot topic right now is the proposed tax plan from our new president, Joe Biden. So tell us about what are the implications of the proposed tax plan for the trucking industry?
Sure. So it's important to note that it's all speculation at this point. Overall, we do expect rates to increase. We heard Biden and his team talk during the campaign and in the debates that they would like to increase the corporate tax rate to 28% from the current 20%. We're also expecting an increase in the capital gains tax. We're expecting an increase of the Social Security tax on high wage earners. And there's even the talk of the possible removal of the QBI deduction or the qualified business income deduction for pass-through entities, which is currently a pretty big benefit to those entities.
Yes, it is. So what can owners of trucking and logistics companies, what can they do to prepare themselves? Again, these aren't certain things, but they are on the table as possibilities. So what could they be doing or should be doing to prepare for this?
Yeah, good question. So companies should ensure that they're managing their tax deferrals and managing those deferrals in conjunction with their cash flow plans. So the biggest deferral for trucking companies and transportation companies is in the form of depreciation. When you're expanding your fleet, buying new tractors and trailers, you can choose between bonus depreciation and take 100% of that expense for that capital asset today, or you can choose normal depreciation and take that deduction over a period of time. The benefits of bonus depreciation is you get that deduction today, you save on taxes today. But if you take normal depreciation, you get that deduction over a period of time. And if you expect tax rates to go up, those deductions are more valuable in high tax rate years. So really what we're talking to our clients about is managing those deferrals in conjunction with your cash flow plans. Because in most cases, you will ultimately have to pay that tax. It's just a matter of, are you paying it today or are you deferring it out into some future period? The other thing that I'll mention is if tax reform does happen, companies should ensure that they're looking at their choice of entity. So C Corps, S Corps, and LLCs all have distinct differences in terms of taxation, estate planning, and future exit considerations.
100%. So to just build on that a little bit, where our worlds collide, especially, it's at the M&A table. And a lot of our clients, they're trying to make decisions about, well, I think I might want to sell, but here we have all these evolving tax environments. So for your clients that you're consulting or working with, what advice are you giving them as far as looking at a possible sale in the future and exit planning? What are those conversations looking like?
Yeah, it's kind of like the old saying goes, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the next best time to plant a tree is today. And so, we just recommend that companies that are considering a sale at some point in the future, even if it's, many years out or longer, that they're just considering all the implications of that sale, they're reassessing their succession plans and their estate plans, and oftentimes in this industry, the wealth of the owners are very much tied up into the operations of the business and the value of that business, and managing those two things together are very important.
Excellent insight. So a big thing for this past year due to COVID is the PPP loans. So what are you seeing right now? What can folks be doing to ensure that they are getting them in position to get forgiveness on those PPP loans?
Yeah, good question. So the PPP program has been very popular, particularly in this industry. What we're seeing now is most companies have either already applied for forgiveness or they're getting ready to apply for forgiveness. What's important now is for companies that have gotten a loan that's over $2 million, the SBA is now requiring those companies to fill out a necessity questionnaire in conjunction with their forgiveness application. So this necessity questionnaire is a supplemental questionnaire, and it's additional information on the borrower, and it's regarding the assertions that the borrower made in that application. So we've all seen the language in that application, which says, and I'm going to paraphrase here, that the current economic conditions make this loan necessary to support the ongoing operations of the business, or something to that effect. And this supplemental questionnaire is used to provide the SBA information on that assertion. And so what we're talking to our clients about and what we're talking in the industry about is to make sure that when you're completing that questionnaire, you're taking into context all the events and the circumstances that were in place at the time that you applied for that loan. April of 2020, which now seems like 10 years ago, if everyone remembers that time, there was this real air of uncertainty. There was projections out there showing GDP was going to go in the tank and unemployment was really going to skyrocket. And it's important to have that context when you're applying for forgiveness, and that the SBA understands that, because frankly, many transportation companies have prospered during this pandemic, but that was by no means a foregone conclusion at the time they took those PPP loans.
A lot of confusion and uncertainty, and still kind of figuring all that out. So leads to the next question. What other types of programs are available to assist transportation companies under the CARES Act?
Yeah, there's two that I'll mention, and one of them can be very beneficial to transportation companies, and one of them can be kind of hit or miss. So we've been getting a lot of questions on the employee retention tax credit, and this is something that came as a result of the CARES Act. Now, this is a credit that's goes against your payroll taxes, and you're eligible for that credit if you had a reduction in your gross receipts or your revenues of 50% in any one quarter of 2020 compared to the same quarter of 2019. That percentage changes in 2021. It's a 20% reduction in any quarter of 2021 compared to the same quarter of 2020. Now, because of those revenue reduction requirements, we're not seeing a lot of transportation companies eligible for that. However, if you are eligible, it can be substantial. It's up to $14,000 per employee. The second program that I'll mention, which we are seeing a lot of transportation companies utilize, is the Worker Opportunity Tax Credit, or the WOTC credit. And this is a hiring credit. And this is a federal tax credit, and you get a credit of in the range of $2,400 up to $9,600 by hiring employees within certain categories. So the most common categories for transportation companies are veterans, folks that have been on food stamps, or folks that have been unemployed for a certain period of time. Now, if you hire somebody that falls into one of those categories, you're eligible for one of these credits. And again, it can be pretty lucrative. It's basically free money out there for companies that are hiring a lot of employees. What we're seeing in this industry is a lot of drivers and a high percentage of warehouse workers are eligible for these credits.
That's very helpful to our audience here. So let me transition real quickly. Financial reporting, cybersecurity. Why are these things that our clients, our industry peers, why should they be thinking about these things and asking questions about these issues?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of companies, nowadays in this kind of weird virtual environment, and you're getting a tour of my home office, for example, a lot of
Beautiful.
companies are having their, a lot of companies, for example, are having their employees work from home. Maybe not all employees, but maybe some of the admin staff. And so it's important to take stock of your internal control processes and how they've changed as a result of this remote work. Trying to again kind of think about what employees are working from home, how were they part of your control environment, what control procedures were they performing, what reconciliations were they performing, what systems do they have access to, and how has that changed now that they're working from home versus when they were in the office, and are you leaving yourself vulnerable to either fraud or just human error as a result of the changing environment.
Wow. Stuff you never even think about. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's an easy thing to forget, frankly.
It is. It is. And I appreciate you sharing that. So I've got one more wild card question for you, sir. Now, you and
Sure.
I, we've got young kids that they all love the outdoors. So let share with our audience what is the top family hike in the Northwest that you would recommend for our audience.
Oh gosh, top family hike. Well, it kind of depends on the age of your kids, but if you come out here and if you hike Mount Pilchuck, it's a pretty challenging hike. But if your kids are a little bit older, I'd highly recommend that one. On a clear day, you just have the most incredible views at the top of Mount Pilchuck. So I can't recommend that one enough.
Well, I appreciate it, sir. And I appreciate you taking the time to get in the hot seat with us and sharing the insights. Thank you for all that you do for the trucking logistics industry and for our clients around the M&A table. That's going to do it for us in the hot seat. We'll see you next time.